This is a third stimulus check update. Now that the impeachment trial is over, Congress can focus 100% of their attention on passing the next stimulus package. But the big question is, will they do that? I'll answer that question and then also give you the current timeline of when we could expect to get the third $1,400 stimulus check. I'll give you some other important updates and then also go over the current rental assistance programs, which are paying up to a year's worth of rent and utilities. And then I'll answer the questions you leave for me in the comments. I hope you're having a great Valentine's Day. If you're feeling in a loving mood, then hit the like button down below. So Trump was officially acquitted in the impeachment trial and 7 Republican senators voted him guilty. And of course, all the Democrats voted him guilty. The 7 Republicans were Richard Burr of North Carolina, Susan Collins of Maine, Bill Cassidy of Louisiana, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, Mitt Romney of Utah, Ben Sasse of Nebraska, and Pat Toomey of Pennsylvania. My question to you is, as a civilian, I'm sure all the Democrat civilians, wanted to impeach President Trump or former President Trump, but if you are a Republican, did you vote, would you have voted him guilty in this trial? I'm really curious. Let me know down in the comments below. One Republican who's a Senate Minority Leader, Mitch McConnell, said that Trump was practically and morally responsible for the riot, but did not vote him guilty. So here's a quick clip from Mitch McConnell talking about how President Trump, or former President Trump, was to blame for the riots, but yet did not vote him guilty. Here's that clip right now.
January 6th was a disgrace. American citizens attacked their own government. They used terrorism to try to stop a specific piece of domestic business they did not like. Fellow Americans beat and bloodied our own police. They stormed the Senate floor. They tried to hunt down the Speaker of the House. They built a gallows and chanted about murdering the Vice President. They did this because they'd been fed wild falsehoods by the most powerful man on earth. Because he was angry he'd lost an election. Former President Trump's actions preceded the riot were a disgraceful dereliction of duty. The House accused the former president of, quote, incitement. That is a specific term from the criminal law. Let me just put that aside for a moment and reiterate something I said weeks ago. There's no question, none, that President Trump is practically and morally responsible for provoking the events of the day. No question about it. The people who stormed this building believed they were acting on the wishes and instructions of their president. And having that belief was a foreseeable consequence of the growing crescendo of false statements, conspiracy theories, and reckless hyperbole, which the defeated president kept shouting into the largest megaphone on planet Earth.
Let me know what you think about Mitch McConnell blasting Trump but yet voting not guilty. It's a really interesting contradiction there. Also, Nancy Pelosi blasts Mitch McConnell and cowardly group of Republicans in Senate after impeachment trial acquittal. So Nancy Pelosi was really fired up. Here's a quick clip of this and then we'll get into the stimulus talks. I just wanted to update you on this, but Nancy Pelosi is really mad in this clip. Take a look.
That's why we're looking to you to run, because you have options. That shouldn't be a reason for you not to run. But what we saw in that Senate today was a cowardly group of Republicans who apparently have no options because they were afraid to defend their job, respect the institution in which they served. Imagine that it would be vandalized in so many bad ways that I won't even go into here, and that they would not respect their institute. That the president of the Senate, Mike Pence, hang Mike Pence, was the chant, and they just dismissed that. Why? because maybe they can't get another job. What is so important about any one of us? What is so important about the political survival of any one of us that is more important than our Constitution that we take an oath to protect and defend? But why I came over was because I listened to Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell, who, when this distinguished group of House managers were gathered on January 15th to deliver the articles of impeachment, we're told it could not be received because Mitch McConnell had shut down the Senate and was going to keep it shut down until the inauguration. So for him to get up there and make this indictment against the president and then say, but I can't vote for it because it's after the fact that he established that it could not be delivered before the inauguration.
Let me know what you think about her fiery speech down in the comments below. Do you agree with anything? Disagree? Let me know what you think about that. All right, enough with the impeachment. Now that it's over, when will the $1,400 stimulus checks come? Now that Congress could focus 100% of their attention on the stimulus package with stimulus checks, is it going to happen sooner? Let's go over the timeline really quick right now. So here are two different timelines of when you could expect to get the next stimulus check. February 26th is when Congress could pass it the earliest, most likely. I'll show you the calendar in a moment. And then if we look here, according to the second stimulus check, how it came out in terms of being passed into law, first direct deposit sent, paper check sent, EIP cards, and then claiming money later on. This is the timeline of when we could expect to get it. Now there's two different timelines here. It all depends on the Senate. If we look at the calendar here, the House, as we've seen in the past, they could pass a $3 trillion HEROES Act and it goes nowhere in the Senate. So the House, we know, can pass things really fast. But it all comes down to the Senate. So if we look at the congressional calendar here, of course, the Senate and House is on vacation this week. The House claims that they're going to be working on their budgets and the committees and all that and submitting it to the Budget Committee. But they won't have an official vote ready until the 23rd. So if they have all of their articles, all of the bills marked up, everything submitted, the earliest that the House could vote on it is the 23rd. Now, the latest most likely is going to be the 26th because they're going on another vacation for the first 2 weeks of March. So if they could pass it by the 26th, then it goes on to the Senate. Now, the Senate is supposed to have the same type of committee work as the House is having now, where they're working on different committees, they're marking up the bills, maybe changing it from whatever revisions were made that the House made, they're doing it in the Senate. They can do that, or one option is Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer could just make a verbal pass and say, yes, this is good enough, let's just have a vote right now. That could happen as early as March 1st, March 2nd, March 3rd, March 4th, this week. So if we look at this timeline here, if it happens and they could pass it before, let's say the 8th, then the stimulus checks could happen, or the direct deposits could be sent out just within a couple of days of it passing. So it ultimately comes down to the Senate. The House, we know they're going to come up with it and pass it right away. It comes down to the Senate. Now, in terms of stimulus checks, a lot of people have been asking me questions, which families are going to get checks every month? So that's not going to start until July 1st. That's the $3,600 credit, $3,000 credit, where you could get $300 per child. And this is for the entire country with the exception of Georgia. I mentioned that in yesterday's video, which I think a lot of people were confused about, why Georgia is getting double the child tax credit compared to the rest of the United States. I think it's very political just because of how the Georgia Senate Democrats won, and they're kind of awarding them or thanking them. I'm not really sure the reason why Georgia gets double the tax credit. Let me know down in the comments below. Is that fair? Is it not fair? Should they be awarded, or should the rest of the country get this benefit as well? Let me know what you think about that. So that is the child tax credit, and it's not going to start until July 1st. I'm going to answer a few other questions about dependents and SSI regarding the child tax credit later on, which a couple of you asked me in the comments. But first, I want to go over some of the rental assistance programs. If you're struggling with rent, to pay your rent, if you're behind on rent, there is $25 billion that has been distributed nationally that you can have access to and use to pay your rent, utilities. So for example, Miami is going to cover 1 year of rent, utilities under the current new program. So I recommend just Googling your town, city, county, state, and see if there's any rental programs that you could be a part of or that you could take advantage of. For example, Missouri just passed a $324 million rental assistance program, which is statewide. Texas as well. Texas has a statewide rental assistance program which launched. And then Louisiana is actually starting their program tomorrow, Monday, and this is going to cover 56% of all of New Orleans renters who are at risk at being evicted. So there's a lot of money being flowing out in terms of people who need rental assistance, and there are some mortgage programs as well. So I just recommend, this is just from a quick Google search, just go on Google, type in rental assistance, mortgage assistance in your town, city, county, and state, and see what pops up. There's so many programs pretty much everywhere. The money is being distributed. Next, I'm going to answer the questions you leave for me in the comments. ML Family asks, what if a person is on SSI and they do get the $3,600 as well? Or is it only people who are working or lost their jobs? So I think there's some rumors going around that if you're not working, you won't get the $3,600 credit. So this is if you have kids. If you've gotten the child tax credit in the past and you have kids, you'll get it this time too. There's no change with this expansion of the child tax credit. So it's basically $2,000 now. It's going to go up to $3,000 and $3,600 and then be paid on a monthly basis. So there's no change in terms of eligibility. It's just giving more money. Next question, Deborah Hicks. What about my mother that is a dependent on my tax return? Is it still based on the 2019 tax return? So the good news with this third stimulus check, if you have a mother who is a dependent or any adult dependent, they will receive a third $1,400 stimulus check, whether they're a dependent or not, which is good news. So it doesn't really matter in terms of what you do moving forward because adult dependents will receive the stimulus check. Next question, Iris Ross. I am owed for a dependent on the stimulus checks that has passed already, and I have received pandemic unemployment. Where do I file to get the money? Do I file taxes? Yes. So if you check out yesterday's video, I actually did a tutorial talking about how to claim your rebate recovery credit. So you will have to file taxes, and when you file the taxes, there's on line 30, you just say how much money is owed to you from any stimulus money from dependents, first and second stimulus check, as well as dependents that weren't paid to you. So that's how you would claim that. Next question comes from Nikki R. Do all VA disability recipients automatically get a third stimulus check regardless on how much they make? Yes. So veterans, retirees, SSI, SSDI, they are all eligible for the third stimulus check, assuming that you're under the $75,000 threshold, which I'm assuming most people who aren't working are. So yes, you will get a third stimulus. And Mary McCraw asks, when will recovery rebate credits be sent out? So to be honest, I'm not exactly sure when they're going to send out the stimulus checks via rebate recovery credit, any money that's owed to you. So I recommend just filing it as soon as possible because the IRS is definitely going to be inundated with tax season as well as trying to get the second stimulus check, first stimulus check rebate recovery credits out, and now the third stimulus check, which is going to come out probably in the next week or so. So I recommend just getting in as soon as possible, and hopefully it gets to you soon. I wish I could give you a better answer. If I find out any information about when the rebate recovery stimulus checks credits come out, then I'll definitely let you know. That is all of the stimulus news I have for you today. To cheer you up a bit, to put a smile on your face, here is my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, I want to tell you the one thing that you can do to yourself be kind, be smart, and also you have to be kind to your mommy, your daddy, or your brother, or sister, or anything that you want. And also you have to be kind to yourself.
And on my other channel, Why Sent, I talk about different ways of how to make money, different ways to save money, and I keep getting comments saying that what do you do if you're on fixed income, if you're on Social Security? How do you save? How do you make money? I created a video to answer that question. If you click this video over here on my Why Sent channel, it goes over 5 strategies of how to save even on a fixed income that I think could greatly help out your financial situation. So click this video right now, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.